Dave, let's start with injuries. How's Jack Payne?
Jack Payne obviously had a shoulder injury the other night, so he'll be missing out on Saturday. But we're hopeful, having spoken to him today, that he'll be back for the Crawley game next Saturday. And the same with John Taylor. John Taylor will be missing, and we'll be expecting him back for the Crawley game the following week.
I suppose that's pretty good news regarding both, really, because we feared, didn't we, that Jack's, if it was too serious, could be season-ending, and John Taylor's had this bad knee injury for some time.
Yeah, it's great news on both accounts. Obviously, what we've had a look at today, and we've had a discussion. Myself, the staff, and all of the players have had a meeting, and we're of the mindset that we want to finish this final run into the season strongly and take that momentum into next season. So we spoke to the players, we spoke to them and asked them a question. We spoke to the physio, and both of them are only short term, which is fantastic because of they'll be involved then hopefully in the last couple of games of the season.
Barnsley then next up. They've had a funny old run, really. They had a real resurgence under their new manager Lee Johnson, but now 7 without a win. What do you make of them?
Carbon copy of ourselves, if I'm being brutally honest. They took over at a similar time. They won 3. I know there was previous management before then, and then since then their form has been a little bit erratic, and probably you could argue a case similar to ourselves, but they'll be in the same position as us. They'll want to finish the season strongly, so the game will be played, I think, with a proper tempo and a real meaning to it. None of us are giving up on things, and we want to be doing things professionally and properly because of we want to finish as high as we possibly can, and most importantly finish with strong performances and good results.
And as with your club, there'll be players at Barnsley perhaps playing for contracts, playing for their futures, that kind of thing. So, you know, from personal points of view, still very important matches.
Yeah, definitely. It's important for both football clubs. It's important for both sets of players that if they want to have an impact on the squads, on their respective teams and squads for next season, then they're going to have to perform in these next 3 games, and we'll be looking at that carefully. We'll be looking at their characters, we'll be looking at their temperament to see that they have that winning mentality and that desire and that commitment that we're looking for from them, but also the quality in what's going to be a very good game.
Are you looking for a very similar performance to the one you got at Swindon, but obviously being a bit more clinical in front of goal?
Listen, in the last 2 games we have had a game and a half of excellent football. We know what went wrong in the first half. We've put that right. The players know what the expectations are, and as long as we don't allow ourselves to fall into that full sense of security that we did in the first half against Crewe, then the players will be fine. We had 22 shots in the game against Crewe, and we'll be looking to emulate that by creating chances and creating opportunities. And the more opportunities that we do create, the more goals that we should score. And we've been working on that relentlessly on the training ground as well this week.
Yeah, and on that, Conor Washington got into double figures, didn't he, on Tuesday night? Is that a bit of a psychological barrier conquered, do you think, from Conor's point of view? Because he said after the Sheffield United game, perhaps he put too much pressure on himself after Asombalonga left the club. Do you think getting to 10 goals will maybe relax him a touch?
Well, I hope so, and the most important thing for me as well is that Conor gets a consistent run in the side, and when he does that, what we have found that he will score goals, and we know that he's a goal scorer and know that he's got them in him, and he'll get a variety of different types of goals as well. So we're going to keep working on him, keep developing him. 10 goals is in his second season in the Football League is the return that we've got, and we'll be looking to expand and take that further next year for him.
I was going to ask you about that. Is it important not to judge a player like Conor too early on in his career? Because, as you say, he's only in his second full season as a professional, obviously his first full season at League One level. So do you have to take that into account when you're assessing his performances and his goal tally as well? Yeah,
definitely, and I like to judge people with my own eyes and rather than with my ears from what I hear from other people. And I know that working with Conor, that he's a great lad. He'll want to put in extra work. He'll work every day to make himself better tomorrow, and he'll do all of the things that he can. So we know that there's a basis, a really good basis to work from. We want to keep developing his confidence in front of goal. And listen, I'm sure that if he does that and applies himself in the right way, then he can become that 20+ goals a season scorer that we need for next year. So the onus is on the players as well, because they have to take responsibility for that, and they need to put in that extra little bit of work that they need to be better than the other centre forwards that there are in the league, and Conor's one that I'm sure will apply himself to do that.
Obviously you want to win your remaining matches, but how much is about entertaining and showing the supporters good football with goals as well? Performance
is vitally important to us, but so are the results, and we need to find the balance between both. We need to make sure that the players get back to winning ways. They need to also play with the performance levels that they have done, because of when we play in that way, it's no surprise to everyone that we create more opportunities. And the key bit is being around getting good possession in the final third and creating good solid opportunities, not half chances. They've been good opportunities, and that's what we're going to continue to work on, because it's the style of play that we want to play with at this football club, and we've got to develop the players' understanding of that, and use this opportunity over the next 3 games, but also for them to understand there's also winning is important.
Have you been able to put into place any plans at all for the summer or pre-season? Have you had any discussions with the chairman about players out of contract, for example, looking ahead? Because I imagine it's difficult for those who have got their contracts up, thinking, where am I going to be? Am I going to be at this club? Because the managerial situation still isn't confirmed. Have you been able to work towards that at all?
Well, I'm working on that. And planning anyway. It's the right thing to do for any manager. And listen, whether I'm here or whether I'm not here, that decision will be made in May. But the important thing is that I plan for the football club for next year, and whether that's in my hands, which I hope that it is, and if it's somebody else's, then I'll be passing that information over to the chairman, and he can disseminate that to whoever it is as he feels appropriate. But I'm doing the right thing by this football club. My pre-season programme is planned. The games programme I have a good idea on, and we've secured a number of good ones, and also the pre-season tour for the players. So if we are here, they'll be working hard. They'll be working through the due processes that we would plan on going through, and also in terms of the recruitment, I've been speaking to the chairman about possible targets from the Premier League and from other clubs that I feel that we need to turn the football club around to get it the successes that we want. But the other side of that will mean that we'll also be doing that with a core group of the players that we've got with us. So I have been pleased with that side of things. We know we need to add goals to it. It's simple, but there are players with quality in the side that will be part of that as well.
A few are out of contract. I think some players that are out of the club at the moment, Lejnik and Mendes Lang, for example. But any of the players that are out of contract, have talks taken place about new deals, extending, anything like that?
Well, I've spoken to players constantly. Obviously, those players who are signed with us, that's the job of the manager. At the end of the day, the decisions in terms of players in and players out will fall with the chairman. I will give him my advice and the targets that I feel and the areas that we need to strengthen. And at the end of the day, I'm a manager. I'm not the recruitment manager, and while you've got good people at the football club who have got a proven record of bringing in the likes of Dwight Gow, Britson Balunga, and turning over nearly £30 million worth of transfer fees. Listen, I'll pass that on to them, but they'll know the guidelines in which I feel that the squad needs strengthening.
So it sounds like plenty has been put in place for the summer and beyond. And with that taken into account, obviously we know you're going to be interviewed for the job in May. If worst case scenario you weren't to get it, would that be difficult then to stay and watch someone else take that work on? Because it sounds like you put a lot into the future of the football club, not just the here and now.
Yeah, definitely. It would be difficult, but it's something that I would obviously have to have a look at my own personal situation, and that will come with the discussions that I have with the chairman. But what I am is I'm very professional. I'm employed by the club. I want the job next year, and I will do the right thing by them. And if that is in the hands of somebody else, then listen, I'll pass that information over and I'll help them 100% because I love this football club. But at the end of the day, I'm doing everything I can to obviously show that I'm the right person to help to lead this group of players to a promotion-winning push next season.
And the players, I mean, just from the outside looking in, seem happy at the moment. I know results have dipped, but the players being happy and being able to express themselves is obviously quite an important part of running a football club, isn't it? Well,
it's a big part. It's a big part of man management. It's a big part of coaching, because if sometimes we have to change our own coaching behaviours when we're on the grass to help and support the players. And listen, sometimes we need to slam our fist on the desk and apply the pressure on them. But we've learnt that very quickly with this group of players, when the right time is to do that and when we need to support them and give them the positive belief in themselves that they need, and they're responding in the right ways to that. So we'll keep doing and working the way that we are. The players understand from this morning's meeting that this is serious. We've still got 3 games to go, and we're wanting to finish the season with a good run of performances, but also a good run of results, and we need them all to make sure that they apply themselves that way. If anyone is on the beach on holiday this time already, then listen, the game will come and bite them in the backside, because of that's nowhere near the professional levels that I would expect from anybody.
I was going to say, is that a danger of this stage of the season? Obviously, you'll be telling your players not to let that kind of mentality creep in, but psychologically, I guess with 3 games to go, the odd 1 or 2 may be thinking about it.
It could be a danger, but we've made sure now that doesn't happen, and the players are aware of that, and I'm sure as a group that they'll make sure that don't happen.
And presumably, if they do let that happen, they'll be out of the team and someone else will have a chance.
Exactly that, and it'll also affect their chances for next season. So we are looking long term, and we are making sure that there's no complacency setting into the group.